message here. Walk away from these liars, these right-wing liars. Walk away from them. They're not looking out for you.
Sat there and you were lying, sack a dog mess.
I lied to the audience.
Oh, you're a reporter. No, I am not. So you check no facts at all, right?
These right-wing liars. Walk away from them. They're not looking out for you. These lies, I mean, they're misleading you. They're lying to you. They're rich, these big cigars, all that.
Prescott Bush, the grandfather of George W. Bush, and George Herbert Walker, his maternal great-grandfather for whom his daddy is named, were Nazi traitors to the country who should have been tried for treason.
You didn't have to go much further than the Republican National Convention.
Agreed.
It literally looked like Nazi Germany. It really did.
Well, when the president does it, that means that it is not illegal.
And many got away with murder.
Using Nazi war criminals is how the CIA got started. And these were as bad guys as you could ever find.
We have before us the opportunity to forge for ourselves and for future generations a new world order.
Afro-Leninism coming to you on a silver platter. Barack Hussein Obama. He ain't right, President, people.
He asked you to design a code to rig an election.
Yes.
While he was Speaker of the Florida House.
Yes. And she said, "You don't understand. We need to hide the fraud in the source code.
Hide the fraud, not reveal it.
Not reveal the fraud because it's needed to control the vote in South Florida."
Swedes have pure genes because they marry other Swedes, because that's the rule. Finns marry other Finns, so they have a pure society.
And the British operated a number of interrogation centers during and after World War II, including one called the London Cage, where German prisoners were beaten, deprived of sleep, and threatened with death.
And I hate to say it, but I think you're a brainwashed Nazi.
Your promotion and association with Hal Turner,
I don't know anybody
Nazi.
This is nonsense.
I let you talk.
Sir.
I let you talk.
Sir, no, I'm not going to let you do that.
Oh, you screaming because you don't want the truth to come out.
These were the people that were opposed to FDR and the New Deal and the communists. There are people right now who are watching this show that say, "Yeah, I told you, those Republicans, they're all Nazis." Well, that's where this came from.
Tonight, with the president signing into law a $600 million bill to increase security along the U.S.-Mexico border. It's an effort to toughen border enforcement, even though, as Mr. Obama's Homeland Security Secretary pointed out today, the fact is that the problem of illegal immigration, as reflected in immigration enforcement, the problem hasn't actually gotten any worse over the last decade.
Everything that is supposed to be going up is going up, and everything that is supposed to be going down is going down. Seizures are up and rose across the board last year. Apprehensions or illegal crossings are down.
It is sort of taboo to say these days. It's at least against the common wisdom. But the illegal immigration problem in America is not actually getting worse. It's just that the people who like to say it's getting worse, despite the facts, are complaining about it a lot louder now. And as their complaints get louder and louder and louder, despite the facts, their complaints are starting to get stranger, too. What else could be driving them to these harsh anti-immigration policies, despite their best electoral interests? Well, last night on this show, we talked about how one of the unheralded direct impacts of Arizona's Papers, Please law is that it would have, in all likelihood, put millions of dollars per month into the hands of the private prison industry, specifically a private prison company called the Corrections Corporation of America. CCA holds the contract to imprison federal detainees in Arizona. How do you get to be a federal detainee in Arizona? Well, when you're picked up in Arizona and you get detained on an immigration charge, that means you get sent to a CCA prison, which is a for-profit entity that gets paid by the government to hold you. CCA could potentially reap huge financial benefits from Arizona Governor Jan Brewer signing SB 1070, since 1070 was designed to lock up a lot more people in Arizona on federal immigration charges. Cha-ching! And that is really convenient given that two of Governor Brewer's top advisors have direct connections to the Corrections Corporation of America. As the CBS affiliate KPHO first reported, and we talked about last night, Governor Brewer's deputy chief of staff used to be a lobbyist for CCA. His wife is currently a registered lobbyist for CCA. Also, one of Governor Brewer's policy advisors, the man who runs her campaigns, owns a firm that represents CCA. So Governor Brewer signing SB 1070 into law, which again would result in more immigrants being arrested and detained, potentially benefiting this prison company linked to a pair of her advisors in a very big way. Now it turns out there is an even more direct link between SB 1070 and the private prison industry, which stands to benefit from SB 1070. Do you remember who introduced SB 1070 in the first place? Somewhere deep in your memory bank on this issue is the name Russell Pierce. He's the Republican state senator in Arizona who pushed through SB 1070. It was really his baby.
To do some reform, then let's see the National Guard of Arizona on the Arizona national border. All the politicians want to act like this is and I say politicians because great people like Russell Pierce are statesmen. There's a difference. Russell Pierce is chairman of the Senate Appropriations Committee in Arizona. He's a powerful guy in the state legislature. And his connections to the industry that is licking its chops at the prospect of more arrested immigrants and therefore more profit in Arizona, his connections to that industry are even more stark than those of Jan Brewer. Joining us now to explain is the reporter who's been doing much of the legwork on this story, Morgan Lowe, with the CBS affiliate in Phoenix, KPHO. Morgan, thanks very much for coming back on the show.
Rachel, it's my pleasure.
I think people nationally connect SB 1070 with the governor of Arizona, Jan Brewer, but what is the connection between Russell Pierce and SB 1070?
The idea behind SB 1070 is something Russell Pierce has been thinking about for years. In fact, in 2006, he introduced for the first time a bill that would make it a state crime for an illegal immigrant to be in Arizona. Back in 2006, that actually passed our state legislature, but then Governor Janet Napolitano vetoed it. This time around, he had a Republican governor, one who was apparently looking for a big issue. Immigration became a big issue in Arizona a few months ago, even bigger than it had been before. She signed it into law, increasing her popularity among Arizona residents and making Russell Pierce even more powerful.
We talked about Governor Brewer's connections to the private prison industry, specifically to Corrections Corporation of America last night. What are Russell Pierce's financial connections to that industry?
We just looked through his financial reporting sheets this afternoon, and he enjoys support from the private prison industry.